If you have a Toyota or are thinking about buying one, what I'm going to tell you today could affect you directly. And the worst part is that some of these problems are not minor. Today we'll discuss something many people don't want to accept. Toyota, a brand famous for its almost perfect reliability, is having a pretty eventful year in 2026. Welcome. Toyota has already had more than, listen carefully, 1 million vehicles recalled. A recall, which is what we call a recall here in the US, when there's a problem, a defect, that the manufacturer acknowledges. And they send you a letter to your home saying, we need to inspect your vehicle and fix it because it has a flaw. Well, so far in 2026, already more than 1 million vehicles. And there's a high probability that one of those could be yours, or one you're thinking about buying. So far, there have already been 9 recalls and more than 1 million. Listen carefully to the number. 1,024,000 vehicles affected. And this is where things get interesting, because we're not talking about just one model or just one problem. We're talking about issues that range from simple things to situations that could compromise safety. Let's go straight to the biggest one of all. Toyota's biggest recall this year affects more than 550,000 units. Which model are we talking about? A very popular one. One that sells a lot, that you probably see, maybe you even own it. The Toyota Highlander. Which model years? Between 2021 and 2024. What's the problem? I'm glad you asked, because the second row reclining seats might not stay properly locked after you adjust them. And this sounds simple until you think about the following. In the event of hard braking, for example, or an accident, God forbid, that seat could move, and that changes everything completely. Protection for rear passengers is not a minor detail, because the rear passengers could even be children. Now, the most curious thing is that this type of failure has nothing to do with engines, transmissions, or advanced technology. It's something basic and mechanical, and yet it affects more than 500,000 Toyota Highlanders. But here comes something very important. A lot of people don't even know they have this problem because the seat might seem fine. I mean, appearances can be deceiving, but it's not completely okay. And later on, I'm going to explain how you could find out if your vehicle is affected without having to go to the dealership yet. But first, let's look at another case which is also important. Which one is it? Very popular? It sells a lot in the US. It's one of the best-selling hybrids. Of course, I know what you're thinking. Have you guessed it? The Toyota Prius is also on this list. How many units are affected? Almost 150,000 units from model years 2023 to 2026. What's the problem with the Toyota Prius? Well, the rear doors could open unexpectedly. Yes, you heard that right. The rear doors could open. This is especially critical if you have passengers in the back. It's an even more dangerous situation than with the Toyota Highlander. And here, Toyota had to act very quickly, because this is no longer a matter of comfort, this is direct safety. Now, if you have a pickup truck, you're not safe either. Aside from this, the Toyota Tundra 2024 and 2025 were also recalled. The popular models of the brand keep coming. Models that sell a lot in the United States. The Toyota Tundra has problems with more than 160,000 units. That's why I told you at the beginning that one of these could be yours, Tundra, a very popular model. My neighbor has one. In this case, the backup camera might not display the image. And here you might say, well, that's not so serious, but in practice, I would say that all these things could potentially be serious. Because nowadays, many drivers completely depend on that camera to maneuver, and losing that visibility, does it increase the risk of incidents? Now pay attention to this, because not all recalls are the same. Some of them are massive recalls, like the one for the Toyota Highlander. More than 500,000 is an impressive number, but others are extremely small and still concerning. For example, Toyota had to do a recall of only 86 units from another super popular Toyota model, the Corolla. 2,026 units where a fault was detected due to an issue with the alignment marks on the headlights. And also another case of just 79 headlights, which weren't even for the US market. But they ended up being installed in the electric BZ4X. That shows you something important. Toyota is reviewing absolutely everything, from the biggest things to the smallest details. Now let's talk about something that many people overlook, the Lexus models, which in theory are the top-tier option.
De Toyota tampoco se salva.
Yes. If you didn't know yet, Lexus is part of Toyota. They're basically from the same family. Lexus, let's get started. The Lexus LX 2025 and 2026 had a serious problem. It's also sold a lot here in the United States. Possible loss of power due to transmission damage. We're talking about damage that's a bit more concerning. And even though it only affects a little over 4,000 units, this type of failure is one of the most serious, because losing power while driving isn't something you want to experience. And that's not all. There were also recalls on models like the RX, which is highly popular. The best-selling mid-size SUV that Lexus has is the RX. They had problems with the RX, the NX, and the TX due to issues with the backup camera, and others related to labels, incorrect load labels, which may seem insignificant. But it can lead the driver to overload the vehicle without knowing it. Here's another important point few mention. Toyota, so far this year, is the third brand with the most recalls, here in the United States. Who's ahead of it? General Motors and Ford. But here's the detail. Pay attention to this, because Ford isn't exempt from this. People are thinking there's a problem with Toyota. Well, our friends from Ford have almost, guess how many? 7.5 million vehicles recalled in the first months of this year. At the time we're recording this video, we're in the 4th month of the year, and talking about more than 7 million, almost 8 million vehicles, that's a really high number, and it's honestly astonishing. So even though Toyota doesn't lead in total volume, it's still very active in correcting problems. Well, it's number 3 when it comes to brands with issues. And this can be seen in 2 ways. On one hand, well, you could say Toyota is having more failures than expected. But on the other hand, you could also see it as a brand that's detecting and correcting issues quickly. And this is where I want you to think, because many people buy Toyota precisely because of its reputation for reliability. But the reality is that no brand is exempt from problems. The difference lies in how they react. And now, let's get to what you're probably wondering about. But before that, if you're enjoying the information, the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. A lot of people watch the videos, learn from them, benefit from them, share them, but they're not subscribing. I sincerely thank you if you subscribe. Not only is it a way to support the channel, but in videos like these where I'm informing you about possible problems, some of them more serious than others. And if you have a Toyota, by liking and subscribing, you're telling YouTube. This video is important for many people who will benefit a lot from this information. So not only it's to support the channel, but it's also a benefit for the community. Vehicle owners who don't have this information or haven't had access to it. Well, this way we can help spread this information a bit more, which is so crucial and important. Now, let's get to what you're probably wondering about. How do you know if your vehicle is affected? First, check the year and model of your Highlander. I'll summarize it for you. For Toyota, Toyota Highlander. Which years? From 2021 to 2024, Toyota Prius. Up to 2026, the Toyota Tundra pickup truck from 2024 and 2025. If you have one of these, you already have a reason to check. Second, you can use your vehicle's VIN, which is, well, the vehicle identification number. Here it's called VIN number on the official Toyota website or on the NHTSA website. This way you can confirm if there's an active recall. It's very easy. You go online, you enter that VIN number on these websites that will give you the information, and you'll make sure if your vehicle is included in that recall. In case you didn't notice and the letter got lost in the mail, because usually the brand, the manufacturer, sends a letter formally or officially notifying you that your vehicle needs to be inspected. And third, pay attention to physical signs. For example, the Toyota Highlander. If the second row seat doesn't feel completely firm when you adjust it, if it doesn't feel firm, that's already a warning. And here's something I want to make very clear to you. Many of these recalls are fixed completely free at the dealership. But the problem is that many owners never take the vehicle in. And that's what really creates risks. Some receive the letter, others don't notice. Maybe the letter was in English, and since they don't speak English, they ignored it, thinking it was just a vehicle sale offer. That ignorance can be costly. The important thing here is that you that you take the advice. The recommendation I'm giving you is to go to the website, whether it's Toyota's or your dealer's, with your vehicle identification number and see if your vehicle is one of those affected among the more than 1 million units that are being recalled. Well, I know this isn't very pleasant news if you're a Toyota owner or were looking for one of these models, but the reality is that it's important to share this news. Well, also, if you're going to buy one of these vehicles, I recommend that you check the description of this video to see how you can get my book. Keep Your Mouth Shut at the Dealership. It gives you guidelines on things you shouldn't say at the dealership to give you a better chance of getting a good deal. There are many things you say that the salesperson can use against you. The idea is fair play, as they call it in soccer. Well, fair play means you have access. You can read the book, my recommendations of specific things you shouldn't say, and tips for when you're ready to go to the dealership to buy a vehicle. Now I want to know your opinion. Do you think Toyota is losing that reputation for reliability, or do you still basically trust the brand regardless of these recalls? Let me know in the comments. Do you think the brand is more transparent now? Are they addressing these issues? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if you have one of these models, tell me which one you have, because this is getting really interesting. Also, let me know about your experience and if you've noticed anything. For example, if you have a Toyota Highlander and you've noticed a problem with the seats, and you had no idea this was happening, let me know in the comments as well. Well, I hope the information is useful. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, so that many Toyota owners and people who are thinking about buying a Toyota can get this information. The information is worth gold. The content itself, or the purpose of this video, is to give you information and make sure you have the necessary tools and information to make a good purchase decision and ensure that what you're buying is in good condition. Because a car is a very important investment. Very important. That's all for today. I send a big hug to my entire community in Latin America. Please don't be upset if I sometimes mention some countries like Venezuela, Guatemala, or Nicaragua, and not others. Well, the hug is for all my Latin American brothers and sisters. A sincere hug. Thank you. And of course, to the Spanish speakers in the United States. I really appreciate the support on this channel. Also, a big hug. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.